Welcome to Mariposa Woolen Mill's Needle Felting Basics and Kit Instruction. For those of you new to felting and deciding to try a new craft, let me give you a small intro. Basically, felting is causing wool fibers to intermingle and mat together. This can be accomplished in a couple ways. Wet felting is one way, hot water, little soap, and a lot of friction. The other way is needle felting, with which I will demonstrate later on in the video. Felting needles have barbs and they grab onto other fibers, to the wool fibers, as it's poked into the wool, causing this intermingling or felting. It always is best to use a surface such as a foam or a rice pad because the needles are very sharp. This kit provides all needed supplies to start this new fun, easy hobby. Let's get started. Our barn felted kit. So let's get started. So using the slate blue mat, I will start to add the sky. I'll use the bright blue. I'm just going to separate the fibers just a bit. Because I don't mind that the slate blue is going to shine through a little bit. So I just want to give a variation to the sky, just a tiny bit. Because I'm going to be adding some clouds as well. So yeah, so just spread out the fibers and let's give it a go. Side here in the center, just give a little bit of a curve to it. As the path comes toward us, we'll just widen the path a bit, still just pinching off the fibers little by little and layering it, so blocking in those first colors, and then we'll felt it down. So I'm just going to give it a little pat just to kind of any flyaways fibers, I'm just going to have them lay down so that when I start to felt, there won't be any little surprising flyaways. So just now anchor all of that down. We're going to be giving more attention to this ground part, so you don't necessarily need to felt it to completion just yet, because we're going to be working in multiple areas, and as you're working in different areas, you can felt the surrounding areas of that area, and then in essence you'll have a more completed felted mat. Let's not forget to felt the sky, which I failed to mention, but we just approach it the same way. But if you're wanting your clouds to have a wispy edge, then don't be afraid to change the direction of your needle. So pushing the fibers in the direction that you want them to go. So once we have everything felted down as far as the background, we'll begin with the barn. So you need to plan how big you want your barn to be. And you're going to make a nice red square with a triangle on top, interchanging using the red and the black. So felt down your basic shape of your barn. So once we have the bottom part of the barn complete, completely blocked in. Then we'll just start with where we have the shadow that appears on the reference photo of the barn. So it's that angled area. So just block in that angled roof line, referring to the photo if you need help. So next we'll just start working on the extension to the barn, that little lean-to or the other little angled part of the barn. So if you notice the reference photo, there is shaded area and then a bit of red. So we're just going to stay in the same roof line. So if you notice that there is a sharp contrast between the red and the black right now, we will soften those, and I'll show you how. So once you have your angle of your roof put in, then we'll just take a little tiny bit of white, just very, very small. Just divide it into very little, and then just twist it so that you can have a more manageable line. And we're just going to create that highlight that appears on the roof line. And if you need to pull fiber away, always push down what's been felted, and with the other hand pull away so that you don't pull up all of your work. So once you're done with that basic highlight, I'm going to show you how to soften the shadow just a bit. So just taking very, very small bits and overlaying it with the red, so you can still see the dark underneath. That's how thin you should be applying it, so that it just softens that edge. So in gently poking it in, just gently poking it, and then just changing the direction of your needle so that you can spread out the fibers like you did your clouds. Now we'll just work on the door to the barn. First, creating a little outline, how the shape of the door that you want. You can make it large if you'd like. I'm just going to make it a single door, not a double door. Just rolling the end of that fiber in my fingers, giving myself a more manageable end, and then I'll give a little tension as I'm pulling so I can keep a straight line. Just creating some little triangles to create the shadow around maybe a cross beam door, like what in a barn would have. So it's just a little triangle, and then I'll have the opposite triangle on the other side. Next, I'll just have a little highlight around the door frame. Just doing it really thin, like we did the roof line. Okay, so next we will work on the foliage around the path, little bushes, shrubs. So these will have a little bit of a raised effect. So what I do is take a bit, roll it in my fingers, kind of give it a twist so that it wants to start to curl. And then I start applying it down. And then I let the fibers unroll, basically. And then I just poke them down so that it has that raised effect. So this is how I'm going to create the shrubs. Twisting. And then poking it down. So just continue to do this, adding shrubs here and there everywhere, and also do this with the trees at the back corner of the barn. So just fill your painting with shrubs, and I use that paler green, that olive green, for majority of the shrubs. So I'll use a bit of the bright green to make the grass, just twisting in my fingers, giving a little tug as I'm poking it in to give that little straight line. Add as much grass as you want. Foliage, you can add the different colors of foliage. You can use the amber, the brown, the other darker green if you want to use that to make some shrubs as well. It's up to you. So once you've added as much foliage as you'd like, I added a bit of black just to give some depth to the forest behind, because I'm planning on putting in some birch trees. Okay, so once that dark area is completed, then we just add little tiny strips of white so that it looks like birch trees in the back. And remember, this is as detailed as you'd like. This example is impressionistic for sure. Thanks for watching Mariposa Woolen Mill Felting Basics and Kit Instruction video. So continue felting, and to replenish your felting needs, come visit us at the farm market or online at the link on your screen.